Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member Peters.
There we are. Hey, what's up? Hi, everybody. How are you? Oh, am I fluffy today? I'm not particularly fluffy. It's just wavy today. I was at the gym using the this pedal bike, which is a fan. You know, it's kind of like the rowing machines, but it's a bike version. And I look up in the mirror, and my hair is totally Farrah Fawcetting in the mirror. Well, quite frankly, I was elated. There's audio coming out of here. Stop with the no sound silliness. Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's waving, and my kid's hair is now, his bangs are long enough that he started to part them. It's a look. It's a good look. It's nice. He was looking a little too Dylan Roof for me for a while. He was insisting on bowl bangs for a while. Not a good look. And I was like, we gotta, I don't care where you go, but you're not staying there. No, it's not good. So ultimately, it got long enough where he was like, yeah, this is it's pretty fluff these days. Pardon me, I just literally slammed food before coming on because I was working out, and I'm like, I'm going to pass out. I still have a couple of things I'm going to shoot for Sexy Liberal this weekend right after I'm done with this. So today's show will be high and tight. Keep me honest. I got to get out of here right after and go into another part of the house and continue filming. to keep up with all this stuff. Get a platinum ombre. What's a platinum ombre? Is that go blonde? My kid is 9. And and Flangdoodle, thanks for being a subscriber on Twitch for 11 months. I think you might be our oldest subscriber at this point. That's amazing. I don't know that anybody has actually hit a year yet. So very impressed. What's up, hip hop music? It's good to see you as well. How are you? And Hype Train already at level 3 before I've even said a word. Wow, the pressure is on. Oh, it's like a fade. I see. No. I don't want to look like Jack Black in Tropic Thunder. How Peter Navarro doesn't look good. Hope it doesn't again. No. Yeah. He's a wreck. He's in trouble, too, once they leave. He's done some gnarly stuff while he's been in office. Couple of things. Let me see if this is...
are aware.
Oh, be quiet. I'm not ready for you yet. This autoplay situation, YouTube is all up in its own cell. Yeah, thanks. No, you can't. Stop yelling at me, you crazy people. There you go. At least he's paused. This is just awful. So, now I have to find, there's one more clip I have to find that for some reason did not show up in my history of clips when I go in and I pick stuff. I know it. One second. Come on in there. Oh, it must be one more back from that. Yeah, no, yes. There it is. That's why I didn't recognize the... Oh, God. I'm sorry. Oh, my God. Horrifying. So, I am... I've got ribs. I had ribs. That stuck in my head from yesterday. Oh. Ribs. I had ribs for lunch. I'm on the air? I don't believe you. So, I'm sorry. I'm going to apologize right out of the gate for doing this to you guys. It's just prepare yourselves. Grab a hold of something. It's not going to be pleasant. I'm just saying. 3, 2, 1... Oh, that's rough. I'm sorry. That's just mean. For those of you that don't know, this is Liz Wheeler. Liz Wheeler. Anyways, she's formerly OAN. I don't know what you got to do to get fired from OAN. And judging from her personal videos, it ain't from telling the truth. It's not like she had a moment of conscience in a vain attempt to try and get a Fox job. No. I'm blending into my background a little bit. Yeah. It's all right. This is a good looking shirt. It works. It'll do. It's okay. So, yeah, she got replaced by a younger model, probably. That would be my guess. If we're going with the straight up OAN, Trump's like, I like her. She looks 16, a little too old for me. Find somebody. Yeah, so Liz Wheeler. Some pronounce it Liz. I think that's inappropriate and not nice. Apparently, she got kicked to the curb by OAN recently, but she's still in complete line. I wanted to show you guys a couple of things today because obviously Trump is still in hiding. So there's no videos of him to break apart. But these are the people who are running interference for him right now. You got Dave Rubin on Sky News, Australia, which you'll get to in a moment. We've got the Hunter China connection on Agenda America, American Agenda. This dude, who I don't get what's happening here at all. This is one of the big. This dude has. Wait for it. Where is it? Here's it. 197,000 subscribers. The channel's called The Finance Hub. God knows why. Because what he talks about is why Donald Trump actually won the election. Now, I'm going to go with totally inflated by bots absolutely buying views, all that kind of stuff. I think you're absolutely right. However, I like when you see stuff bubble up on Fox News and stuff, and you're like, where are they getting this stuff? This is where they're getting this stuff. So let's just jump right into Liz Wheeler over here, who is wearing a dominatrix outfit from the Kayleigh McEnany collection. We are shoulder free. Yeah. So the title of this video is, "Where is Durham? Where is he? Barr's gone, now Durham can be free. Barr's the problem. Let him free. Where's Hunter? Where's Durham? Who's Durham?" By the way, Spotman, I got this gray shirt in China. I thought I would just wear it, and this was workout gear I bought when I was in China. I love buying clothes when I'm in China because it's the only country where I'm a large. That's true, and so it's a large, but it's just like kind of a workout compression shirt, but it's a little lighter and it's very comfortable. And it was cold this morning, so I wore a long sleeve shirt and a jacket when I was working out, and then started peeling layers over time. You know what I'm saying? Next time I'm gonna have to wear just like one of these Rocky half shirts. I'll challenge the erection results fund. Thanks, Rocky Mountain Mike. You and I need to do a song together, my brother. I have a couple of ideas. Call me. You don't have my number. I'll get it to you. But we gotta talk. I have a couple of ideas. Little collab. By the way, if you haven't seen already, and I'm sure I'm sure I'm just bringing it up right about this time where Can't Stop Lying, the genius that he is probably throwing the link in there somewhere. But if you haven't seen it yet, the Nerd Halen Santa Claus is Coming to Town video was finished in all its glory. Our socially distanced shot music video for Santa Claus is Coming to Town, which we do in the style of Van Halen. David Lee Roth era Van Halen for this one. So, yeah. I think she's just taken the blue pill and is trying to hide it from the viewer. I think that's a good point, YouTube, that you pointed out. I think she's just red pilling herself right before this. Liz Wheeler was Blondie standing in Videodrome. Oh my God, a Videodrome reference. Yeah, long live the new flesh. So we'll put it in there. We'll get it up. The erection results. Quit it. All right. So, and by the way, these are some snazzy earrings. These are. There's a lot going on here. These weren't chosen by accident. So clearly, these are. I'm gonna go message from Q because this is vaguely like a Q and a child, or a severed head, or this is part of the Trump cult. This is the sign. This is like maybe it's the O like that and the two fingers, and it's like the white supremacy sign. We'll figure it out. I don't know, but it's definitely code. Nothing happens by accident. But I will notice that what is the deal with these like white and gray backgrounds? There's one dude who's just using a sheet right now. I mean, honestly. I know you're a Klan member, but you have to have better production values than that. Even the Klan irons their robes, in theory. So this is the report. This is Where's Durham. So this is all about Hunter Biden, okay? So get ready. You're going to hear the tough truth about Hunter Biden that the mainstream media, allegedly, is not telling you because it's bullshit. But whatever, okay.
Boggling to me that
Oh, God, that was way too loud.
U.S. Attorney John...
Okay. It's mind-boggling. She's mind-boggled. This is her opening frame. I'm just saying, this crossfade is available in iMovie for a reason. You don't ever want to do that. You don't want to stop on it. You don't want somebody to forward, rewind back to the beginning of your video, go to the tail end and catch you. There's all throughout they can do that, but that's an accident. The beginning and the end, it's all your fault. I was kicked off OAN. All right.
It's mind-boggling to me that U.S. Attorney John Durham did not release his report on the origins of the FBI's corrupt Trump-Russia probe
Weird. It's mind-boggling to me that you don't have a teleprompter that's even with your camera instead of right here. Because it honestly, it looks, I call it looks waiting for unzipped. This whole, like, when you're, so gross. Thank you, Raphael. Maybe just, they can, for very little, do I have to show you? You can get a I do this completely without a teleprompter. Maybe she's not using a teleprompter. I have on my camera right here, up here, the monitor on it, the back screen flips up so I can make sure that I'm in frame and all that kind of stuff. And it can be distracting sometimes if you have it up and now that you know the shot's working, you want to tip it back down so that when you look up, you don't look straight at yourself. You will look right into the camera. It's a pro tip. She doesn't need a pro tip from me. She's done 900 hours of OAN.
Before the election.
Yeah, that's because there wasn't enough information, because there isn't enough information, because there will never be enough information. And 2 weeks before the election, they weren't going to just give you another Comey layup.
So that we, the people, could see for ourselves the role that Joe Biden played in spying on Team Trump.
Oh, what role did Joe Biden... Is the Durham report even about that? Does anybody know what the Durham report's really about? Because I know what they started on.
Remember.
Oh, all right, I'm remembering. Here's what I'm remembering. That it's not bad if girls, when they go to the gym, do arms.
It was the Obama-Biden administration who weaponized the Department of Justice and the...
Well, only in the sense that they were like, is this thing loaded? Oh, I guess it is. Because they didn't actually intend to go after Mike Flynn. They were going after real spies. They were spying on the Russians, and they were like, who's this asshole talking to them all the time?
The FBI to target Trump and Trump associates in an effort to illegally destroy, first, a political candidate they didn't like.
Well, no, it was. Don't just say didn't like. That undersells it. We despise the man due to his abject racism, sexism, and history of sexual assault. Now, please carry on.
And then a duly elected sitting president of the United States.
Who lost the popular vote by 3 million votes and only squeaked by in 3 states because of lame progressives who didn't want to vote because, I don't know, is there really a difference? Yeah, he totally won the big way. But, by the way, just because you're duly elected doesn't give you a license to crime after the fact. See, because he was impeached, not for the Russia probe, not for the Russia hoax. He was impeached for shit he did after he'd been in office for 2 years. Excuse me, I was hired as the bank manager, mainly because my dad is the president of the bank, but still, as a duly hired bank manager, I have the right to walk out of here with as much cash as I want, and anybody who questions me gets a shotgun blast. Honestly, I was duly hired. I worked here for almost 24 hours before I robbed the place. I work here. I have a badge.
Repeat, it was the Obama-Biden...
Yeah, we heard you the first time.
...administration.
You know shit doesn't become more true just because you say it twice, right? You know shit doesn't become more true just because you say it twice, right? You know shit doesn't become more true just because you say it twice, right? You have to say it 3 times. And then Candyman.
We know Joe Biden played a role in this egregious scheme.
Oh, did he? What was his role? Did he get snacks? Was he in the White House, in the Oval Office going, oh, if I could only get my hands on Mike Flynn?
We know because Peter Strzok made notes after the January 5th, 2017 meeting in the Oval Office.
Oh, you mean...
Think about that date.
Oh, you mean the Logan Act? Okay. Okay, for those of you that are new and maybe you don't know, maybe you got a railroad spike through your head and you still think Trump actually won the election and you think that poor Mike Flynn was just tormented and mean old Mr. Biden, he came down there and he wanted to use the Logan Act from 1766 on him and it's just not the thing you do. I think it was 1796. Yeah, something like that. Anyways, the terrible that they were going to use that old Logan Act on him. So, Mary McCord, an intelligence, I think she was a deputy intelligence director at the time, overheard in a meeting with Peter Strzok and McCabe that a DNI official, you know, that brand new intelligence agency that was created during the Bush administration, a DNI official, they don't name the person, brought up the Logan Act. And she was unfamiliar with it and decided she had to go look it up. There was literally a... my light is drifting again. I've got to start working on this whole thing. I've got to go do a whole setup on this. It's driving me crazy. Get back up here. Simmer down. All right. So, Mary McCord made a note in her notes, and I guess Peter Strzok made one at the later in this endeavor, where she heard the DNI person bring up the Logan Act, and then she brought it up again in a meeting later with everybody else. And far from being the person who was like, we should use the Logan Act, ladies and gentlemen, this is malarkey. We gotta the Logan Act. It's the only cure for what ails us. The only person in the room who knew what the shit the Logan Act was, because he's old enough to have been there when it was drafted, was Joe Biden. And he literally, in Strzok's notes, it's like, Biden responded by going, Jesus, the Logan Act. You know, like, it's like he'd say, like, I think we need to, make him dress like Benedict Arnold in court. Isn't that the rules? He has to wear a wig in court. And you're like, Jesus, we're wearing wigs now? It was the same kind of reaction. It was a DNI official who brought up the Logan Act. It was Mary McCord who made a note of it and brought it back up again later in further meetings. And it was Joe Biden who exclaimed, Christ, the Logan Act. That's how but it was his idea. But please go on, Fembot.
For a second.
Okay, for a second.
January 5th, 2017.
Uh-huh. A day that shall live in infamy.
That means Obama was still the president.
Right.
Biden was still vice president.
Okay, I'm following you.
But Trump had been elected. It was just 2 weeks before Trump's inauguration.
Right. So he wasn't... So Biden's president right now and deserves all the rights and privileges of the presidency is what you're saying? I'm so glad you've come around.
The FBI notes...
Jesus, don't jump at me like that.
...from the Oval...
And it's not machine gun boobies, it's machine gun jubblies. Soup for your family. Thank you, Captain Hot Licks, for this soup for my family. And are you any relation to the Hot Licks guitar series from the 80s? Because I own a bunch of those on VHS. The most useful one ever was Bruce Kulick's one, where he did a bunch of licks from the Asylum tour.
Oval Office meeting stated that Joe Biden had suggested using the Logan Act.
No, he didn't. And if you could fucking read, you'd know that he didn't suggest it. He went, Christ, the Logan Act.
To target General Michael Flynn.
No. That was my fault. I just paused. That's completely normal. It's almost like her ideas have taken facial form. Sorry, we're just going to sit with this for a minute. Why'd she get fired from OAN? If only I could get my thumbnails to look this good, I might have 171,000 subscribers. She's this is Liz Wheeler. Liz. It's pronounced Liz. Liz Wheeler, who used to work for OAN but got fired for not lising enough or lising too much or being too expensive or being too old for her blonde bracket, whatever it was. By the way, the smoothing filter she has on right now is incredible. Like, I want that. This is some caramel shit happening right here. That is, I mean, you can. There are only two ways to get that look, and that's a built-in blur on your camera that fixes facial tones, or or doing it in post, or a belt sander.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big fucking deal, as Biden would say it. But in a different tone, he would go, big fucking deal. Like that.
First of all, it proves that Joe Biden is a liar.
No, it isn't. It proves you're a liar. You've apparently talked about this enough, or at least had it related to you enough times, that you could have either checked for yourself like I did. Shall I go look it up again? It's in the Washington Post article about it, where you initially got this story from. Anyway, okay, should we do that later? We'll do that later.
When Joe Biden claimed he knew nothing about the Russia witch hunt, he was
yeah, it's hard to say you know anything about a Russia witch hunt, especially when you think it's not a witch hunt. I don't know anything about a Russia witch hunt. I do know about an investigation into Trump's financial ties into Russia and their manipulative ability and stranglehold over him, and Mike Flynn's ties to Turkey and Russia, that they were paying him while he was being the NSA. But,
was lying. We know Biden knew about the FBI's plot to entrap Michael Flynn.
Entrap Michael Flynn? Oh, you mean I think we can get him to lie about this. You mean the thing that all police officers do and all law enforcement do when they're interviewing a suspect and they know that they know more information than the subject thinks they know? Seriously, does anybody watch Law and Order or Mindhunter or has this woman ever seen a police procedural show? Miss Law and Order, Miss the cops do nothing wrong all the time, like Blue Lives Matter. So now you think you're one of these people like, police should have to tell the truth at all times during the interrogation of a suspect because, honesty is the best policy. Even if it means a serial killer goes free. It's really, they should know everything you know immediately, even though you're not in court yet and you're not obligated to, and the law allows you to, and all undercover police officers should wear blue uniforms.
What else did Joe Biden know?
What did he know? Let's see. He knew the Logan Act was too old an act to use.
How much more was Biden involved in? That we don't know.
Yeah, and that's a big file. What you don't know is most of the cabinet.
Oh, because Durham didn't release his report.
Friggin' Durham, too busy grooming his goat. He's got a goatee. He's got a big goatee. One of those big furry ones. It's like his entire face tried to become Wilford Brimley in one fell swoop.
Before the election. But one thing is clear.
What is one thing is clear. Your skin. It's fabulous. What's your secret? Maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe it's not.
It's all going to happen again.
Is it? Why?
Because there has been zero accountability for any of the corrupt criminal government figures involved. Comey, McCabe,
you mean the people who lost their jobs?
Bruce Orr, Nellie Orr, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page.
Well, they lost their jobs too?
And that's just naming.
Is it Flexiderm? Plexiderm. Flexiderm is what you use to give yourself the illusion of muscles. Flexiderm. I use Flexiderm. It takes the wrinkles out of my flabby arms.
A few.
It gets rid of your hello Bettys. Hello Betty. Hello Betty.
Kevin Kleinsmith is the
Jesus, why are you jumping? What are these cuts about?
Only DOJ lawyer who pled guilty to anything.
Son of a bitch. And even he shouldn't have.
And that was only after it was proved that he had altered an email to make Carter Page look guilty when the FBI knew Carter Page was not guilty.
Hi, dummy. You may be new to my show and probably your viewers who will find your way over here and besides laughing a lot about calling you Lies Wheeler, what they may not have looked into is exactly what the rest of us looked into that whole the FISA application, lie about Carter Page, is that indeed the lie made Carter Page look less guilty. It softened the application. It did not harden the application. Speaking of softening things.
But this corruption
Oh, God.
is all going to come screaming back into the White House because Joe Biden is bringing back the same kind of swamp creatures who committed that malfeasance in the first place.
Oh, malfeasance.
Or defend
The earrings are, look, she got them for her birthday. She's gonna wear them. God damn it.
it or perpetuated the lies on
Yeah, I need that filter too. I have no idea but honest to God, it's like a Mr. Robot filter.
which it was based. Case in point.
Ugh, Jesus Christ, she just lurches at me. It's like Annabelle. Clunk. It's like you turn around and the doll that was sitting on the chair is now in the chair closer to you. And you're like, oh God.
Biden's
Is it After Effects? You think so? Is it Cosmo Effects from the Red Giant collection? I have the Red Giant collection. I've seen that.
says he'll appoint
I think it is. I think you're right.
Neera Tanden
She's totally doing Cosmo. That's what this is. I bet. It's Cosmo.
as director of
Not Cosmo Kramer. That makes you look really weird. Oh. Whoa.
the Office of Management and Budget, a very powerful position in any administration. Mm-hmm. And Neera Tanden is as swampy as they come.
Terrible. Neera Tanden. She's not even white. What in the hell?
Tanden conveniently deleted tweets of hers, calling Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell Moscow Mitch.
Did she conveniently, or did she do it because the Biden administration, in bringing her in, said, you can't keep those things up if you're going to be a part of the administration. We're not going to have that. You can't talk like that. So go clean it up, take them down, and if you want to apologize, you can, but if you want to just take them down, you can. But if you're going to work in here, obviously you're going to have to, we don't need people throwing that back in there. And by the way, funny as hell, totally Moscow Mitch. Hashtag Moscow Mitch. Hashtag Moscow Mitch is Putin's bitch. I mean, you have to do the whole thing or it doesn't have the same, Jesus Christ. Some people may feel awkward about the idea of buying a Harmony sex doll, but
Tanden perpetuated the fake news Trump-Russia collusion narrative, and she essentially said the debunked Steele dossier was true.
Yeah, it is for large part. The only parts that's, quote, debunked are the parts they weren't allowed to chase down. Washington Examiner, a conservative newspaper in the Washington, D.C. area, was the original people who paid for the Steele dossier. They wouldn't print it because they decided they were going to be on Team Trump after he won the primary, so they took it to the Hillary Clinton campaign and said, Steele said, I'll sell you this if you want to pay for the rest of it, you can have it. They bought it because it was, compromat. It was not compromat, it's not the word I'm looking for. It's opposition research. It was an oppo paper, but you don't let them see what's in it until you sell it. You just go, these are my sources. This is what the Washington Examiner paid. This is how much it cost. And they gave it to the Clinton campaign. The Clinton campaign went, shit, we can't release stuff. We're going to win anyways, we think. We don't need to release stuff about him, about urine and hookers. And this dude's gross. And then he went and took it to the FBI because he's like, they're not taking it seriously because it is serious.
And remember,
I remember. You keep telling me to remember. I remember all this stuff. Don't tell me to remember. To quote Mr. Frost, remember, I am memory. Yeah.
the Democrats in the House impeached President Trump. They falsely accused him of corruption and quid pro quo with foreign nations.
No, they didn't. They accused him of it. They found him guilty of it. He was impeached.
But let me introduce you to Alejandro Mayorkas.
The one and only Billy Shears.
Who is Biden's pick for the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security.
Uh-oh. And his name does not sound very right to me. I'm just telling you this right now.
You want to talk swampy?
Jesus Christ. Boy, do I.
You want to talk corrupt?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's hear it. Swampy and corrupt. Bring it.
Mayorkas faced 15 whistleblower complaints and was then found by Obama's Inspector General to be guilty of selling green cards to Chinese nationals on behalf of wealthy Democratic donors.
Dun, dun, dun.
Talk about selling our national security.
Why is that national security? I mean, I can understand you would think that was unethical. How's that national security related?
This is the swamp.
Oh, I see. It's because it's a swamp. I see.
Joe Biden is the swamp.
He is the swamp? Well, maybe that's why Trump has had such a hard time draining the swamp. Maybe he's just not tugging on... I'm sorry. No.
And these swamp creatures are all coming back to Pennsylvania Avenue because we, the people, didn't get to see for ourselves what role Joe Biden played in the plot to take Trump down because Durham never released his report.
Apparently you already know what he was going to say, though. Apparently Durham hasn't released a report because the information that you've already said, which has been in the public record for years, is it. That's the end of it. There is no more there. That was it? That's how you go out?
Take Trump down because Durham never released his report.
Hold. Look at that. It's the script. I need some sort of like closing screen like that. Did she fart? You think so? They had to edit it out with the sound. Okay, so I mean that pretty much wraps it up. But this is where, again, yes, Lies Wheeler reports live. Live lies. Lies live. We'll figure out our Fox show's name eventually. This dude, he's doing most of his videos are exactly 4 minutes long. So, but they're a lot of fun. Leslie Jones would have look, wait a second. So he got rid of his old gamer chair and he upgraded, people. He upgraded. Look at that. He didn't even move it out of the living room in his apartment. Bedroom's over here. That's the bathroom. This is the thing. There's a kitchenette over to the right. I know the layout of this place just by looking at it. Fresh out of that is a pretty thick flat screen. There. That's a computer monitor. This is his dad's room. Okay. Anyways, this is his gamer chair. He got it for Christmas last year, and he finally was allowed to unwrap it because he got straight A's. But this is the old chair. This just happened. I'm kidding. This just happened. But this is, again, this guy's channel is called The Finance Hub. It has almost 200,000 subscribers. And then he's got a Patreon, and you can get uncensored content because apparently he does this same video as you're about to see it, but he does it in the nude with covered in Crisco, I guess. It's a masturbatorium. It is. It's his OnlyFans. By the way, patreon.com/HalSparks. Think about joining. We're trying to hit that 500 mark. Oh my God, that would be helpful. Here we go. So this guy does, let's see, what are we doing business under? 13,133. That's not a suspect number at all. To add that up, if you got 1-3, that's fine. But if you got 2, 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 times 333, that's 666. Jesus Christ! What about that time I found you naked with a bowl of Jell-O? This is true. I was hot and I was hungry. All right. Again, these are and I don't know what the dude's name is. I think that's a big mistake. I think that's why Lies Wheeler is doing so much better than he is. How much money is 200,000 YouTube subscribers worth? It depends on like his click-throughs and what if it's I have 15,000 and I have a small fraction of that is my Patreon supporters. If he has the same percentage of subscribers to Patreons, he's making real money. I'll just put it that way. Money that would anger most of us while still living in this apartment that his dad uses for his mistress, whatever. All right, here we go. And by the way, when he's not at his dad's hump place, he goes to one of those like WeWork places and takes over. I love how you thumbs down all these idiots. I have to. Well, again, this goes to these folks are the voice of. This is how they spread this nonsense. So if you go, where the hell did that come from? It came from one of these idiots.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. My
what's happening?
name is Dylan. Thanks so much for coming
Hi, Dylan.
by. If you stand with our president, Donald John Trump, it is more important
Why are you reading that?
now than ever. If you want to support him,
If you want to support the president, what do I got to do?
and support the truth,
Support the truth or troops? Truth.
thumbs these videos up. It's
Oh, I see. All right. That was my mistake. I thought it was like send money to Trump or support him in the runoff or, and go to Georgia. And No, just thumb up his videos. Okay, good. Well, hey guys, if you want to tell Donald Trump he sucks and erase every piece of crap legislation he's tried to shovel through or eliminate all of his stupid executive orders, please give my videos a thumbs up everywhere. What?
It's more important now than ever. Give this.
Yeah, it's so more important now than ever. Now that he's lost the election and the Electoral College and he doesn't have a chance. And I really don't know what I'm going to do with my channel after this happens. And I've got 20 days left of kissing Trump's ass. And then I'm just hoping this is his audition tape for OG1.
This video, big thumbs up, and comment down below your support for our president.
Our? Who's out? Who's we?
Look, in today's video, we're talking about how
my notes. I made notes, guys. And I'm going through my notes because I am exasperated because you can always tell I'm being robbed. Hands go up. Yeah.
Donald Trump is being urged to declare martial law. Look, I've been reading your comments. I know some of you guys get me fired up.
Yeah, especially the ones that have grammar so bad you'd almost suspect they weren't from this country even. All the support I'm getting from Dave in Ohio. Hello, I'm Dave in Ohio. I really think President Trump was cheated in election. He should send troops in and Kent State all these sons of bitches. MAGA 2020 ever.
We're still heading to win for Donald Trump, despite what you're fired up.
What? You get me fired up and then what?
We're still heading to win for Donald Trump.
We're still heading to win for Donald Trump.
Despite what you hear in the fake news media.
Yeah. Don't listen to the fake news media. Listen to this dude until his dad comes home and then he's totally busted. Why are you sitting in my good chair? You'll stain it.
They're talking about how Joe Biden is elected, the new president. It's not even true.
It's not even true, guys. It's so not even true. It isn't. It's not even. He's not even. Come on.
The date in the Constitution is January 20th. The Congress doesn't even count the electoral votes until January 6th.
Yeah, so it's basically, honestly, people don't vote for president. They vote for electors, and the electors can do whatever they want, okay?
Donald Trump.
200,000 subscribers. Yeah.
Trump and his team are still fighting. There's still ongoing lawsuits.
Well, fighting. They're still fighting for every dime they can squeeze out of maggots left and right.
There's new stuff being discovered.
Ooh, new stuff. What's new stuff? Tell us the new stuff. You've only got 3 minutes left.
And they even have an executive order they're working with.
An executive order? Say it ain't so.
We have an alternate slate of electors from 7 battleground states.
Yeah, they're not certified by the governor, and they're just randos who are like, I'm an elector.
Sending in their electoral votes, basically.
Yeah, basically, they're just sending them in.
For Donald Trump. That's called the GOP electors. We have...
That's what that's called? Is that the GOP electors? Are they? Do they have team shirts?
People getting arrested.
Oh, good. All right. Well, that's an upside.
For election F word. There's so much going on.
For, election F word, which is fraud. That's the word, apparently, they get shut down. If you say the word fraud, apparently, context doesn't matter. I don't know. I feel bad for anybody who raises frogs on YouTube and has a head cold. These frogs are some of the best frogs I've ever grown. They're just, I'm sorry guys, this is too bad. It's not COVID, I've got basic flu or whatever. I didn't catch it from any of the frogs. They're great. And what's funny is for Christmas, you guys don't forget to sign up for my Patreon, patreon.com/froglover. I'm gonna go. My goal is to save up and get a full-size arcade Frogger.
Anyways, this is what we're talking about: martial law.
Look, yeah, talk about martial law. Tell us how it works. Tell us, Dylan.
Look, YouTube is censoring these videos. I can't talk freely.
Dude, I can't talk freely about this. You have to sign up for my Patreon so that I can bullshit about this in private.
On here,
pay me to lie to you is what he's saying.
Went ahead, big announcement. I started a Patreon.
Jeez, what a surprise. Skip.
No censorship. I'm saying everything I want to say.
And by the way, on Patreon, he's posting YouTube videos. These are, where does he think these videos are coming from?
Unfortunately, on YouTube, they literally have demonetized almost every video I post.
Oh, it's amazing. Just because I'm calling for sedition, and a lot of my videos previously have called for armed conflict in the street.
And they even
what did they do?
threatening to delete my channel. So,
Oh my God, are they threatening to delete your channel? Are they? Really? Did you get a letter? Watch it. I got a handwritten letter signed YouTube. Better watch it, buddy. I'm getting calls in the middle of the night from YouTube. Hello? Hello, it's YouTube here. Not you again, YouTube. Please, leave me alone. If you don't watch it, we're going to delete your channel. Don't do it. Just think about it. YouTube. Creator Studio. Click.
go to my Patreon.
And you can watch my YouTube videos there.
You would support me as well, support the truth about Donald Trump, and you can
I only got 20 days left. And I don't have any other prospects.
get access to
What am I gonna do? They're never gonna have me on. If they fired Liz Wheeler, what chance do I have? How am I gonna get a job on OAN if they kick her to the curb? I wouldn't kick her out of bed for eating crackers. Come on, what shot do I have?
all those posts, all those videos.
Yeah, carefully read what you're saying so you don't, go on an unhinged rant and get kicked off.
Uncensored videos. Virginia.
I didn't say fraud, I said frog. And I only said fraud to say frog because I was trying to say frog. Frog.
State senator who pushed Trump to declare martial law, Democrats with treason. After facing...
Wait, read that again for us?
Censored videos.
Okay, get a grip. Here it comes. This is the hard part. You're a minute 58 in. This is the first experience with reading that you're going to have in this video. Take it easy. Don't rush it. Okay, dive right in. Just pounce on it. Why does he look like he's going to strangle whatever he's about to read? I learned to read from a serial killer who picked up hitchhikers. That's good.
Virginia state senator who pushed Trump to declare martial
Virginia state senator. Her name isn't Virginia.
law, Democrats with treason. After facing criticism from her gubernatorial opponent.
Gubernatorial. Oh, that was precious. I did not see that one coming. Gubernational. It's gubernatorial. It's someone who's running for governor. Oh, God. Read that again, please.
Virginia state senator.
Virginia. Her name's Virginia. She's a state senator. I don't know what from what state.
Who pushed Trump to declare martial law, Democrats with treason.
Mm-hmm. What'd she do?
After facing criticism from her gubernatorial opponent.
200,000 subscribers. Hanging on every word. I'm sorry. I did not. I did not see that one coming.
After facing criticism from her gubernatorial opponent, Virginia State Senator Amanda Chase.
Okay, so she is from Virginia. Oh, God, that's so fun. All right. Jesus Christ. Gubernational. Oh, my God, I can't. I can't. Oh my God. I don't think you're wrong there, Ben. Or who had said that? Wait, scroll back. I've got to scroll back. Tone God 909. Trumpism is goober nationalism. I think you're right. I think we stumbled on something. Goober nation. Not to be confused with Goobler Nation, which is all those people who love the brainiac from Criminal Minds. Okay, I'm all right. I'm recovered. Oh, I need to have a sip of something. Don't do it. I'm trying to have a drink of something. You guys are making me laugh. All right, here we go. Oh, God. Goober National.
Goober National.
I need to run for governor in this dude's state. That's all I care about. I don't know where he lives, but I got to move there and run for governor. Just because I want him to talk shit about me.
Opponent, Virginia State.
It's pronounced opponent, excuse me.
Senator Amanda Chase doubled down on her support for President Donald Trump declaring martial law because Democrats committed treason during the 2020 election. Now, what is martial law?
Oh, yeah, explain it to us, Goober. What is martial law? It's when the marshal comes in and he lays down the law. Martial law is, of course, guys, what is martial law? Martial law is when people get married and it's the law that incorporates marital. Oh, sorry.
That's what we're talking about. That's what we're looking at. Martial law.
Okay, what's martial law? What could it be?
Is the imposition of a direct military control of normal civil function or suspension of civil law by a government, especially
Dictionaries. They're easy to come by.
in response to a temporary emergency where civil forces are overwhelmed or in an occupied territory. Everybody knows our country right now at this moment is more divided than ever.
Yeah, but it's not an occupied territory, dipshit. We don't declare martial law because emotionally you're wounded, goober. How is this not the Goober channel from now on?
Millions of people.
It's the martial law, right? So many people feel like they're not the older daughter or the younger daughter. They're kind of the middle daughter, and we need to declare middle daughter law. Marsha.
On the left side.
She's the older daughter. But
who are basically, they think our current president, they're comparing him to Hitler.
Yeah, I've actually made anti-comparisons to Hitler, meaning Hitler actually, was a German purist, not an abstract white nationalist. So he had a very distinct thing. He didn't care about Russians or anybody else. He was saying that the Germans were a specific breed. Now Trump, there's no way he can look in the mirror and ever think that. And Trump did have Hitler's Mein Kampf on his nightstand, according to divorce records. But that's pretty much where it ends. Because, I mean, say what you will about Hitler, but he accomplished a few things.
They think Donald Trump is,
fat. Fatter than he says he is. Shorter than he says he is. And not really orange. That his hair is made out of fiberglass. That he's not what?
A horrible person.
Oh, yeah, he is a horrible person. That's true.
And then you have most of America, over 80 million, 90 million people, 100 million people worldwide absolutely love our president.
Are we just you mean, which country? We're counting Russia and what? Hardline dictators? That's what, okay, so Erdogan, who else? That's a lot of people.
The big tech media, like you've heard me today, on Facebook, if you try to share my videos, you'll get flagged.
Yeah, but that's because it lowers the IQ of everyone working at Facebook. Who, they have people who watch every video. They have to go through them and make sure that people aren't live streaming awful. So they go, there's somebody, and hi to that person. Hello. Hi person at Facebook who has to scroll through to make sure I'm not doing anything untoward that, is block-worthy, some craziness, like filming a bank robbery or something of myself. Check this out. We're going to go rob this place. That kind of nonsense. There's always a person who has to watch that. And unfortunately for them, watching your videos makes them stupid, and they can't do their job. They start bleeding from the ears. They black out. There's never enough snacks. Why is he always going to the bathroom? Because he's in charge of looking at Dylan Goober's videos.
If I can't even talk about some of this stuff on YouTube, or else it gets censored.
It's terrible. It's weird. Like, I've talked about it a bunch. It's not that you talk about it. It's what you suggest should be done about it that is the problem.
Our country is more divided.
This is a dude, and by the way, Brenda, there's no reason why you would know this. This is the point I'm trying to make. I'm going to show you a couple of these every so often. This is where a lot of your dopey relatives are getting their information from.
Right now than it ever has been before, and this is actually a real possibility.
No, it isn't. Martial law is not a real possibility. It's not going to happen. And a Virginia state legislator yelling it at their gubernational candidate.
So I will keep you all updated on.
Please do. Don't let it slide.
What Trump says.
What does Trump say? Oh, well, if he ever comes out of the bunker, you mean? When he comes out of the basement where he's been hiding and having a lid, like a garbage can.
I haven't heard him really talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Haven't heard him really talk about anything lately, have you? I mean, is it after you bought a new chair and he didn't even notice? He would come on this asshole's channel, right? Trump would absolutely phone it. I mean, this kid could have Rudy Giuliani on, like, thanks CPT. This kid could have Rudy Giuliani on twice a week.
But behind closed doors, trust me, they are talking about it.
Oh yeah? Because this kid, nothing says I've got access with the Trump family, these phony billionaires, and the White House like a flower mirror clock. This is what was your first giveaway? I knew he had, this is clearly Q code right here that he had. It's always, what time did he tape this? 10 till 2? Yeah. Oh, it's like driving. He's driving to the White, he's part of the bus tour. There's a pillow over here or something. He's my pillow, dude. White shade, clearly code. This door opens into this door, so it's just like, I mean, the sitcom moments that we're all missing in this guy's life are magic. This person comes out of the guest bathroom. This person comes home with groceries, nothing but jars and bottles. Pow! It's just glorious. And of course, this is where all the bodies are buried, and they wouldn't figure that out until well into the case. This is the place where I go and stand and look over where I've thrown them all.
Thumbs up this video.
No. Why do I feel like his thumbs would stink?
Same with Donald John Trump. Comment down below, and if you want, again, access to my full video.
No one does.
On martial law, you can go to my Patreon. I'll be talking about everything over there.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Stay tuned. Thanks so much for all your ongoing support. Have an amazing day.
He's nothing if not sprightly. Yeah. So over here at the sort of real channels, this is Sky News in Australia, and this is part of an ongoing segment I think that Sky News has, where they're like, ask a gay about a gay, because that's how we do it down in Australia on the right-wing news places. So they called up Dave Rubin. Apparently he's in the middle of a bender. I don't know why he's that color red. I swear to God, I think he just, it might be bourbon. How can you tell? No, Sky News is definitely not news. It's more Sky than news, and it's absolutely shot on the ground. That ought to tell you. But he looks a little baked. I don't know if this is sunburn or alcohol, but, part of the goober nation. We're asking about Tom Cruise. Everybody thinks he's gay, so we'll ask Dave about that. And then we go on to talk about Biden picking Buttigieg and you're gay, so you can ask a gay question to the gay guy, which is totally what they're talking about here.
You as a married gay man,
Jesus Christ, I didn't even expect that right out of the gate.
you must just be feeling absolutely joyous about the coming Biden administration having what the media are calling the first openly gay cabinet member.
What the media are calling the first openly gay cabinet member. What does Sky News know that we don't, even though they're talking about someone who was openly gay? Openly gay? Yeah, and I think you might be right. This is half-baked. In the sun and with weed. What? You know, because it's, gay. Tell us about the gay. Tell us, gay guy, about the gay, right?
What do you think about that? Are you just overjoyed and celebrating in the streets?
That's the little bit of irony there, if you don't know. I don't like Joe Biden, and I definitely don't like gays. What is she selling here? What is the big layup?
Rita, I know you and I know you know me, so I think you know my feelings on this. I mean, first off, let's just be very clear. The media this is complete fake news that he is the first openly gay cabinet position in an administration. Rick Grinnell, who is a friend of mine, who was the former ambassador to Germany and then the acting...
Yeah, not open. Not open. Outed. There's a big difference.
Secretary of Intelligence. He was...
Well, secondary intelligence, I think is how it's pronounced.
The first openly gay cabinet member. That's number one.
Yes.
But putting that aside, Pete Buttigieg was the mayor of South Bend, Indiana. It's a small city with about 100,000 people. He knows nothing about transportation. You know a little bit of something as the mayor, but he is not qualified in any way. And the way it's being...
But don't worry, because Ruben, what's his first name? What's Ruben's first name? Ruby Ruben. Goober Rubin is qualified to tell you about it, and that's why we're having him on the show today.
Sold on us is, oh, he's gay. He's gay, so it's...
No. He's smart, speaks multiple languages, and is incredibly articulate, shot above the job position he was closest to in life, being a mayor, and actually scored because he was worthwhile. And you don't think South Bend is a transportation hub? That's one of the only things it has going for it.
Wonderful. Yeah. It's fantastic. He's gay. What else do you want from us? And it's like, you know what? The fact that I'm gay is probably the least interesting thing about me.
No, not at all. That's not true at all. It is the single only interesting thing about you. It genuinely is. Well, that and how you turned that color of red. Seriously, can someone be permanently embarrassed? Is that what happened to him?
And sort of irrelevant in the grand scheme of things.
Is it? Is it irrelevant? Because it's kind of relevant when people have been denied posts previously. See, that's why it's relevant. It's irrelevant if nobody's just been magically picked. If you're like, it's the first left-handed person to have this job. Oh, really? Yeah. We didn't check or anything, but it just turns out. Isn't that weird? Do you realize you're the first person who's exactly 5'8"? You know what? We've had 9 brunettes in this job, and I think you're the first auburn. The last 2 people were too brassy, I thought. Those are irrelevant. When someone's been denied a job because of their sexuality for generations, it does matter.
But this is the perverse thing that identity politics does.
What's perverse about it?
I am much more interested in quality and qualifications than I am in sexuality and diversity. But they've basically decided, oh, as long as we got a black woman here and we got a gay guy here and a trans person over here and maybe a guy with a limp and a lady with a lazy eye over here.
I see. So being gay and being black are the equivalent of having a lazy eye and a limp, and according to Dave Rubin. So that's sweet. And for the record, it isn't simply that they are that color and not qualified. It's that there have been many qualified people over the years, including now, who are of color or who are gay, but now they are being included that it is not being seen as a detriment. And as a matter of fact, that variance in their life experience brings something new to the table. Whether or not that actually matters or is useful is the same thing as saying, why have we never had a single president? We've never had a president that's single. We might want one at some point because there's a different perspective that comes. We're always voting for these long-term family men in this series, or in the case of Trump, serial cheaters like him and Newt Gingrich. But perhaps at some point a single person. Most of those people have been excluded from the potentiality over the course of primaries and stuff. So when there's a president who runs who eventually makes it and is single, people are going to go, holy shit, this is our first single president. It wasn't the primary thing that got him elected. It's the thing that has kept other people of quality from getting elected. A dummy.
Well, then somehow we're doing something right.
Face. No. Those folks are not being excluded for those traits, and bringing them in also reflects the fact that Americans of all swaths can see themselves reflected in their government, not to the exclusion, but as part of the inclusion because they are of value, because they do have something to contribute, and they are of quality. By the way, I'm sure Dave Rubin has had a big opinion on past transportation secretaries. Let me see. Who could have, let's see, transportation secretaries. Let me try and see if I can find one that might, Terry, yeah. We'll just do multiple and see if it comes up that. Okay. United States Secretary, okay, let's see this. All right. Golly. I'm sure that when Alan Boyd was first chosen in 1967, that was the first one. We didn't even have one before that. There was no transportation at all. So Alan Boyd couldn't possibly be qualified because there was no transportation up until 1967. He was the first one. He's under Lyndon Johnson. John Volpe. Of course, I'm sure Dave Rubin's really concerned about that. Claude Brinegar probably wouldn't have made the list. William T. Coleman Jr., 1975 to 1977. Curiously enough, first black transportation secretary. I'm sure Rubin wouldn't have thought he was qualified. Guy was from Pennsylvania anyways. I mean, he probably cheated his way in. Brock Adams, transportation secretary. And Neil Goldschmidt, Drew Lewis. Oh, under Reagan, Elizabeth Dole. Yeah, what does she know about? I mean, at that point, she's the wife of a sitting senator. So all of a sudden, because she's from Kansas, she knows something about transportation, Elizabeth Dole. And clearly, of course, if you'll recall from 1983 to 1987, worst traffic in the history of America, according to Dave Rubin. Samuel Skinner, who, is an unfortunately... Andrew Card, look at that, under George Bush. Yeah. Oh, Clinton. Hold on. I'm going to have to bring this up on this side, or you guys aren't going to believe me. This is going to be very upsetting when Dave Rubin finds out about this, whatever. Transportation secretaries. This, of course, this is, again, currently, by the way, right now our transportation secretary is Elaine Chao. Just saying. Yeah. So these are the ones that are in here. By the way, decent. Let's see. Hold on. She's got they got a decent salary. It's executive level 1. It's good. So here you go. There's William Coleman. Down here, look at that. Elizabeth Dole, terrible. A woman, probably just picked in the middle. Couple years, just let her skate. Drew Lewis and James Burnley clearly doing all the work. I mean, by God, how can you say otherwise? By the way, nobody gets to link up my stuff. Dink, dink. Delete. Thank you. So, yes, Elaine Chao is McConnell's wife. Yeah, she's transportation secretary. And her family owns a shipping company, which is where the Cocaine Mitch idea comes from, by the way. Mr. Skinner, well done, John Actor from Hot Fuzz. Andrew Card, there he is. Look at that. Rodney Slater, picked by Clinton from Arkansas, brought a bro from Arkansas. Just these affirmative action hires by these Democrats. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, we made incredible advances from 97 to 2001 across a lot of areas of transportation. Actually did very well in the 90s, particularly during the, so Pena and Slater did a great job. But they probably just accidentally. Mary Peters, right. We got another woman from Arizona. These are just choice pieces from, what are these? States you have to win? Oh, he gets it because he's Japanese? Is that how we're doing it now? Like, this is the... Oh, I see. Check in the box. Barack brings Fox. Sure, he starts with a white guy named LaHood. Klan much? But... then he goes with Anthony Fox to try and make up for it, as if anybody's not going to notice. And then, look at that, nominee right there at the end. There you go. And he's going to take this job from somebody who's earned it, Elaine Chao. And Buttigieg doesn't even have a history of cocaine trafficking. What does he know about transporting illegal substances? You tell him, Dave Rubin. Oh, and by the way, this dude was acting the entire time. He lasted 11 days? He was the acting dude before they put in Elaine Chao. She's been there the run of it, man. Look at that. They swap out a bunch during some people's terms. I mean, Obama had one per term, and so did Clinton. But Reagan was rolling them through there. He was handing those things out. Look at that. Line of succession regarding to who would act as Secretary of Transportation in the event of vacancy or incapacity is as follows. Whoever's the Deputy Secretary of Transportation, they get the job first. Then the Undersecretary of Transportation for Policy, if they can get out from under the Deputy Secretary. Hello. The General Counsel, that's a hold. And then the Assistant Secretary for Budget and Programs. Then it's just by the time you get to it, the FAA administrator is going to take over the job. Like at a certain point, you burn through all these people, and in the designated survivor of transportation secretary, you could end up with administrator of St. Lawrence Seaway Development Corporation running the and what do they know? You tell him, Dave Rubin. Some gay guy from Indiana doesn't know, is not fit to polish Elaine Chao's shoes.
And you're not going to believe this, Rita. I am a fan of that guy. You may remember him, Martin Luther King Jr., and he
not the color of their skin, but the content of their character. Is that where he's going?
wanted something that now is thought of as rather radical. He wanted his children not to be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
And that's exactly what's happening. See, they used to be judged out of the circumstance entirely. That's what happened before. You just can't because you're black. And then starting in 77, they started not excluding people 10 years after the Civil Rights Act had been... All right.
And that is literally the reverse of what the Biden...
No, it isn't. It isn't. The entirety of the Biden cabinet plan is there are lots of qualified people. Some of them happen to be gay and of color. We're going to let them have a shot this time because they've been excluded because of those traits before. They're not getting the job because because of their color or because of the fact that they're gay or because they have a disability or something. It's because people like them have been excluded who are totally capable, who could have done a great job, if not better in a lot of cases. They are being included. and chosen to do those jobs because they can. All of them are career professionals. The irony, right? The irony that a bunch of these folks that are getting picked are actually so qualified, they should have probably gotten the job a decade ago.
In cabinet,
but they wouldn't. Jesus.
Is doing.
Well, it is. That's a
This totally what's going on.
radical position now.
And here we are. I'm in Australia. I'm a woman of color. You're a gay on American YouTube. And we both got here by merit.
It's in fact a racist position in the eyes of many people.
I agree. They are like bionics, Danny.
Who are obsessed with identity politics. Now, Biden has been presented as the sensible centrist. Very different to the Democrats' socialist squad and all the lunatics who've.
By the way, both of these people, speaking of color, I'm not quite sure what colors we're dealing with here. Because she looks like she has liver problems, and he looks like he just ate her liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Infiltrated the party.
I'm just saying, it might be a white balance thing.
But he has also wholeheartedly embraced identity politics and really radical ideas
like crazy, like gays.
like supporting children under 10 transitioning. So how much of a centrist is...
Is that what he said? Is that what he said? Is that what he said? Is that what he said?
Joe Biden in 2020?
Well, I don't think Joe Biden knows what he is in 2020, and that really is the danger. Joe Biden is 78 years old. It's fairly obvious to everyone that he has a significant level of cognitive decline.
Okay, all jokes aside, fuck you, Dave Rubin. No. Biden is incredibly cogent, has a great grasp of the law, and one of the problems that he had during the primaries that made his stutter come out as much as it did was the fact that he doesn't like attacking fellow Democrats. And that he even gives assholes like Donald Trump enough rope to hang himself. Fuck you. By the way, I haven't seen any of this video. I don't pre-watch these things or whatever. But how many times do you think during this is Rubin going to eat his own argument and double back on something or say something stupid or misflap something just in this short segment? 2, 3?
He has trouble reading off a teleprompter. And
does he now?
When he's not on the teleprompter, he muddles his words. He can't really speak. He loses his train of thought and the rest of it. I don't know what they did during the debates to keep him on point, but...
Well, he didn't have a teleprompter and he was speaking his mind. You mean he's better off the cuff than he is directed by an external source of speech? Either notes or a teleprompter or what have you? What was Trump's excuse for his wandering bullshit? I mean, I know you're one of his fart sniffers.
They definitely did something. I don't know if it was from hiding in the bunker for a week beforehand, and then they just threw him out there, and he did his thing.
Yeah, it's just magic. You know, that's what you do. You just keep him in the bunker long enough, and he just rejuvenates his power like the girl on Stranger Things.
But the idea, I heard a lot of this from my more centrist friends that were generally thought of as left.
Dave Rubin has no friends.
These are liberals. A lot of them said, see, the Democrats didn't go completely bananas. They didn't choose Bernie Sanders. They didn't choose Elizabeth Warren. They went with the old Joe Biden, and he's going to, govern basically as a centrist Democrat. Except it's very obvious in the 30-plus days since he was elected, which I'm still not quite sure he's going to be the president even.
Okay, fuck you twice.
But it's become very obvious in these 30 days with the picks, with the messaging coming out, that he is going to govern as a radical leftist.
No, it isn't. It is by no means. As a matter of fact, the radical leftists are pissed that he's picking people who are career diplomats and career cabinet officials. Yeah, Putting Susan Rice in I mean, he might as well have just, found one of Marx's great-grandchildren in Russia and taught him to speak English.
They are going to get critical race theory back in the schools. They are going to be teaching the 1619 Project.
No, they're not.
They're going to get rid of they're going to put Title IX back in the colleges, which will remove due process.
What? Title IX doesn't remove due process, you dick.
All of the things that, were thought of as scary Trump things that in many ways were saving liberalism, saving our
Totally. I felt saved.
institutions, they're all on their way to being destroyed with the Biden administration. And truly, I don't think he's in charge. I don't know who's in charge, but if you're walking around thinking that this 78-year-old guy with a broken foot who's, can't really speak, who's coughing constantly, if you think he's in charge, I got a bridge to sell you.
No, you don't. You don't know how a bridge is constructed. You couldn't sell a bridge. You wouldn't even know why you would need to pass over a river at any given point. You are incapable of selling anything to anyone. And I love how his book is called Don't Burn This Book, because it's like, that's what lefties do, man. They burn your book. They totally burn it. It's like the opposite of steal this book. Like, pay for it and don't set it on fire.
I'm still bewildered by
what you're saying. I don't know. I brought you on here to talk gay stuff and you won't even go there.
how he broke his foot. The official story seems to be now that he got out of the shower and chased his dog's... No. He got out of the shower and tried to pull his dog's tail and fell. I mean, that is just not... Who does that?
He was playing with his dog. He wasn't getting out of the shower.
Oh, goodness. But do you think
Do you think we need a president that has a dog? I mean, don't you think that's just more of the kind of hyper-lefty radicalism? Isn't it better to have a president who, whenever he's around a dog, acts like, it's an alligator and can't even pet the things because he thinks they're disgusting? I mean, isn't that what you want in a president?
are going to have a Madam President, Kamala Harris, in our future?
Kamala.
Maybe in the near future?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the idea that he's being set up so Biden's going to have a heart attack or die or get COVID or keel over and she'll take over. And this was all a plan by the radical Democrats to seed her in there, even though it was Biden's choice.
Well, look, going on the assumption that
I'm going to go with Ruben has an undiagnosed shellfish allergy.
does get sworn in on the 20th, which again, I'm not totally sure is going to happen. But
I am. And so is Dave Rubin. This besides the fact that he looks like Margaritaville, he looks like somebody brought him into court. Like, you gotta wear my jacket. I don't want to wear your fucking jacket. Wear my jacket. They're never gonna listen to you. All right. Look, I paid for the beach ball. What I do with it is my business.
let's just say that happens, and that's sort of...
It will happen. It's going to happen. Dave Rubin knows it's going to happen. He's a lying piece of shit.
...sort of conventional wisdom at this point. I would be shocked if the guy lasts a year. I would bet almost everything he doesn't last the full...
Please do. Bet your Globe and 4 copies of your book, which I think were all of them printed, and that's an IKEA lamp. That's a candle that's never burned. Never trust anyone with a shelf that has a candle that they never burn on it.
...term, and they knew that. They knew that going in. And what I always said about this for the last year...
What you've always said about this for the last year is what?
...is that the scandal was the non-scandal.
That's totally what it is. I agree. The scandal is the non-scandal. It's the lack of scandals is in its own way scandalous. It makes me concerned. There must be something there because there's so much nothing.
Everyone knows something's not right with Joe Biden. Everyone knows it.
No, they don't. No. Here's what they know. He has a stutter. That's what they know. I am not convinced that you haven't been stung by a bee and are going to die after this segment.
I don't take any great pleasure in that.
Yeah, you do. You're reveling in it. Why are you so pink? This is really weird. The book is white. The book has a white cover. The color is correct. What is that? What is your face doing? And your chest. So it's a whole thing. It goes all, it's like, this is inflammation or something. It's blow. Is that why he's getting the Coke swell? Is that what we're looking at? Is it Coke swell? Do you have to wake up because it's Australia and you had to be up? It's like 5 a.m. You know, they're like got a 6 a.m. show, so we need you to come on in the middle of the night.
My grandmother had dementia.
And you caught it.
In her later years, and I spent a lot of time with her, and it's not.
And so it was murder.
Fun. It's pretty horrific. So I don't.
Being around you, yeah. I mean,
I don't mean to be glib about it,
but do you do anything but be glib?
But the scandal is that the media decided we can't talk about it, while everyone knows.
I just did. I mean, honestly, tanning bed issue. You think, Tracy? That's possible. All right. Yeah. Because my grandmother had dementia, everyone old now looks dumb to me. What?
Something is wrong. So if you take his age, if you take the broken foot,
if you take the fact that Dave Rubin has never actually been right about anything.
You take the fact that he's giving speeches and coughing in his hand constantly, which we're told not to do, and all of those things, and the fact that before the election, let's not forget, Nancy Pelosi, the leader of the House, was talking about using the 25th Amendment, which would basically be
about Trump. And the Trump campaign pushback was this: they're just setting that up so they can use it on Biden, so they can get Kamala in. That was the story, because Trump's ego was so weak, he couldn't even allow the conversation to be about him losing his shit. And by the way, since the election, what's he done? Lost his shit. And also, Biden's cough, where he coughs into his thing, he washes his hands, he wears a mask. He should cough into his elbow. That's a better habit, right? Absolutely. But his ice cream cough, which is what he had the other day, is not ongoing. It hasn't been. He doesn't have COVID. He's getting the vaccine on Monday. Dave Rubin's entire crowd is not going to take the vaccine.
Their way of smuggling Kamala Harris in.
Say this is the story.
I think it's fairly obvious that
confirmation bias is a growth industry.
If Biden begins the term January 20th, 2021,
he will.
It will be Kamala Harris by the end of it.
You wish.
And Kamala's voting record is amongst the most radically left-wing of anybody.
No, haven't you been listening? It's the most.
So
it's the most.
Go from a supposed centrist in Biden to a very different presidency if it's under Harris. Now, in 2020, we saw BL.
Does anybody remember when they were worried that Harris was too conservative to run? You remember that? Am I the only person who was paying attention to Kamala Harris's career before she got onto the national scene? Honestly. Am I the only person who's like, she's listen to what Roseanne says about her. They want her because she'll lock up black people. She's a hardcore. She's like a super cop. She cops more than anybody. Like, that's all she cares about is just cops. And like she just wants to lock up black people. Like that was the biggest thing that Kamala Harris had going against her. Was the fact that she was seen as too right of center because specifically she was a prosecutor. That was the problem. So oh my God, she's got the worst record ever. Why? Because she tried to pass an anti-lynching bill? It's a real easy problem to dodge. Don't lynch anybody.
Quickly, by the way, Rita, Kamala Harris dropped out of the Democratic presidential primary very early on, even though people thought she was going to be a frontrunner, and she was basically polling at 0. So in effect, if what we're talking...
Largely because she attacked Joe Biden, and it didn't work. And then he built a coalition with her. Amazing.
...about here happens, the president of the United States will be someone who dropped out of their own primary early and then polled at 0. I mean, really think about it.
So if Trump has a heart attack, Pence, who never ran and never could measure up, would be president. The former governor of Indiana. What's his job mean? What does he know anything about? Being Pete Buttigieg's manager?
How twisted that could become.
It's very twisted. The whole thing's twisted. Imagine if vice presidents were, I mean, I think honestly, vice presidents should be forced to win the primary and beat the president before they can become vice president, if you really think about it. P.S. Ruben loves George H.W. Bush.
Oh, absolutely. And she had such glowing media coverage. And yeah, you're
It's terrible. Why can't they shit on her?
right. She just did horribly, and got absolutely destroyed by Tulsi, who would have
Yeah, that totally. Yeah. Tell us what a winner Tulsi is.
horribly, and got absolutely destroyed by Tulsi, who would have been a good vice president. But
Oh, she's been great. She didn't. She polled really well too. What is it, 0.03%?
I digress. Now,
But she got to stay in because of the money funneled from Russia through her cult in Hawaii. So that's fun.
we've seen in 2020 the influence of Black Lives Matter really increase. The corporate support for the group has soared to new heights. What has that done for race relations in
Yeah, tell us, Dave Rubin. Tell us about how black people are faring. You're gay, so
the US?
you're like basically black because you're gay. That's how we do it down here. That's the nature of our show. Sky News, what we do is we kind of group everybody together. You've got a limp, so basically you're black or gay or a woman. Why aren't you a woman if you've got a lazy eye or you're gay? Jesus Christ.
You know, the real truth of it
Tell us the real truth about Black Lives Matter.
is if you remove this small sliver of people who are constantly in the race trade, who are grifting on race,
Then Sky News wouldn't have a channel?
the average American, no matter what you're seeing on TV, Americans love the idea that we're this great pluralistic society. America has done
Well, yes, the vast majority do. The vast majority of Trump supporters, not so much. Yes, the vast majority of Americans are not Proud Boys. But they are a significant slice of Trumpsters. But please, tell us how Kamala Harris's supporters, the K-Hive, are really the root of all evil.
a better job than any country in the history of the world for roughly 250 years, bringing people from all walks of life together. You can bring your foods, your traditions, your religions.
Just keep them out of my yard, okay? Because I don't eat that, because curry stinks, okay? And I don't even care if it's got, like, she's from Australia and she's Indian, whatever. She gonna come down here and, like, have curry and Vegemite? That's nasty. I'll be over here deep frying Snickers bars like a real American.
Your all of the stuff that makes you you, and then what you do is you fold that into America. That's why we're a melting pot,
But we're an origami melting pot.
which in many ways most of Europe wasn't able to do. Europe in many ways is much more ghettoized between ethnic communities.
That's what it is. Europe's basically just a bunch of ghettos. Hey, asshole, I got news for you. America is special because if you look on your 23andMe or any other, Ancestry.com or whatever your genetic breakdown is, you're going to find European countries and Asian countries and Middle Eastern countries and African countries, but you're not going to find American, ever. You're not. Because that's not the kind of country we are. We're an idea country, not a racial country.
We've done it so brilliantly.
Germany is full of Germans. Poland's full of Poles. Yes, there's some overlap, but you can move to Sweden all you want. It won't make you Swedish. Same thing with England. Like, there's all these, like, the difference between being British and being a UK citizen, that's a distinct thing. And one of the problems that Europe does have sometimes is that they try to be us. They try to be, as pluralistic as we are when they're actually nation states around races. Like, just like Korea is or Japan is, that's what England is to some degree as well. America isn't that. It'll never be that.
Here so spectacularly, and we fought a war to end slavery within about 100 years of our founding. That's pretty good. It doesn't mean our history is perfect, but it means that it's pretty good. The only racists in America today
are you and Cenk Uygur. No, who? I'm kidding. He doesn't. Cenk's not a racist. He just hates Armenians. Oh, my light that was weird. Yeah, I'm sorry, Lord. There's too much in this. My goodness. What has happened? This is so strange. All my lights just decided to... That was crazy pants. What happened? Apparently, my light's literally like, enough of Dave Rubin already, for Christ's sake. All right, hold on. I'm fixing something. That was fun. Oh, I know. I've been moving this. I see. I've been moving this with my feet. Hold on. Get up there, you crazy. We're just fixing stuff. It's what we do. Okay? Tilt this a little bit, and we'll... There we go. There we go. Loosen that up. I like it. Okay, here we go. Sorry. Light jumping down. It's crazy. That was fun. Literally, my lights are like, enough Dave Rubin already. Jesus.
Are not what the media will tell you, which is that there's these far-right racists running around in the KKK and the Ku Klux Klan. Nobody knows where they are. I'm not...
Yeah, we do. They're in Georgia, they're in Tennessee, they're in Alabama, they're in Louisiana, they're in parts of southern Kentucky, some of them are in West Virginia. There's some upper-level ones that have, that work at Tucker Carlson's show that literally write, and his head writer was a white nationalist. We know exactly where they are. They're largely in the South. They are not indicative of the greater American public. They aren't. But that does not mean you don't pay attention to them and fix them, and you also don't play footsie with them to get yourself elected.
That's not saying that there are literally none of them. Of course, there are some actual racists. But the racists of today
are all working on your show. No,
the people who purport to be the anti-racist.
Oh, that's how they get you. The real racists are the people who are against racism.
The people who are obsessed with skin color, the people who say, oh, you should get this job because of your skin color.
Or no matter how qualified you are, you shouldn't be considered because you're that color, which would be apparently, as a lobster American, Dave feels left out.
You should get this job because of your gender or your sexuality.
Well, you shouldn't be excluded from getting it, and you are qualified. And a lot of people look up to those job points so we can, if we have multiple people to choose from and they're all equally qualified. I mean, nobody is an Elizabeth Dole. I think we can agree on that.
In terms of...
There are no more Elaine Chaos. We're done. So it's all downhill, transportation secretary from now on.
Race relations in reality?
So you're saying that Ben Carson isn't qualified to run the housing and urban development because he's black and Trump hears the word urban and thinks black? You think that was a mistake? Weird.
The average person is not racist, and we're a highly functional, good society.
And and being below average, that's very nice of him to say.
There is a sliver of very influential radical leftists who have somehow infected the academic level, meaning the colleges. They've affected the political level, meaning virtually all of the Democratic Party. And then they've really affected our mainstream media, which is just an absolute clown show. And they
that's what it is. It's basically, but don't get this mixed up with McCarthyism, because they're radical blacks. We're not talking about Jews anymore, or are we?
Push this idea on us, but most people are not racist. By the way, most people in your country aren't racist either, and it was one of my favorite places to visit when I was on tour.
Yeah, nobody attacked you because of your race while you were down here, did they? That was really nice. So you come down here, and nobody yelled racial epithets at you. Nobody called you, I don't know what the Australian words are for these kind of things, but nobody used the N-word when asking you to bring them butter in a restaurant. It's nice. That's the great thing. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Sure, yeah.
But we've got the same phenomenon with elements of the media and certainly academia and popular culture who are desperate to
pop culture's the worst. Taylor Swift, don't get me started.
Present Australia as inherently racist.
It's terrible. Like, I'm not even Olivia Newton-John. I'm not even listening to her anymore. Silvery Rain, shut up.
Lastly, Dave, you were one of the very first people to recognise the dangers of big tech.
Yeah, you you recognized it on your YouTube channel, and I remember you tweeting about how people should go to your Facebook page to hear about the dangers of big tech. I remember first seeing you on our show, on our YouTube stream live.
Suppressing and censoring stories.
Yeah, like we won't even be able to put this clip on our YouTube page and have some American comedian take a big duke all over it. We used to be able to do that. Now Hal Sparks has nothing to look at. He can't even go to our station, listen to us talk shit for an hour.
People and even ideas they don't like.
No, terrible ideas they don't like peanut butter and honey. Who does that?
Will the likes of Google, Twitter and Facebook face a reckoning at some point in the future?
Will there be a Facebook of reckoning? I reckon.
Well, look, David beat Goliath, so, I always say maybe
David beat Goliath. So in how this is drafted, he's the David in this circumstance. We're talking about this. And of course, when you say David, you mean the biblical David, not the gay statue. Just to be clear, I mean, it would tie in with why we had you on. We hate one note identity politics, but how do gays feel about this? Jesus. So David beat Goliath. No, it didn't. I mean, I'm with Malcolm Gladwell on this one. David cheated. Goliath came down. They were expecting a mano-a-mano fight. It's how a lot of the armies settled stuff. And David, instead of fighting the guy in hand-to-hand, used a projectile to kill him from a distance. He cheated, and then he cut his head off. They don't do the cut his head off part most of the time and tell a story.
maybe Dave here can beat Google. I always think there's a
Let's cut to roll the footage of somebody in New York City scrolling on Facebook with brown fingers. It'll scare them.
chance. However,
Google, that's the building. If you don't know what the address is, just Google it.
again, if we're to believe that Biden is going to be sworn in
He is.
come January,
Another angle of the Google. It's everywhere. It's the same sign. Shut up.
I think at that point, big tech is going to do things that we can't even imagine. The
Oh, yeah. Right. Don't even get me started on the suckies.
levels of censorship.
Oh, that's a mom and pop Google. That's what that is. This is one of the local Googles run by just an old couple. They whittle their own Googles. You can get a handcrafted browser from them.
If you've been talking about this for a long time too, Rita, and
Totally. Yeah. Where's she been talking about it? Let me guess. On her Facebook page and her Twitter account and on her YouTube page where they post all the Sky videos.
and
All
the
right.
levels of censorship that we've
Terrible.
seen on Twitter, that we see on YouTube, algorithmic tricks,
Algorithmic tricks. Sounds dirty.
boosting, shadow banning, the litany of ways that they manipulate us. Just as we're talking today, I just saw in the last hour,
Terrible. What happened?
2 weeks before the election, Twitter changed the way you can retweet, which made it harder to amplify certain messages.
No, they didn't. They asked you, they added a thing. Do you want to read this article before you do it? They made it harder for bots, you dick. Jesus.
They did that 2 weeks before the election. They didn't announce that they were doing it. They just said, okay, here we go. We're doing it. And then today they reversed it. Well, what could have happened in the last month that maybe would make them do something strange?
No, the same thing happens. It just depends on which source you're using. On the browser on your like phone versus iPad versus the desktop, there are different standards for how you do it because they assume you're interacting with it differently. On the phone, it says you want to read the article first because you might not notice because it's an article because it's really small and it's on your phone. If it's on an iPad, it does quote, tweet, or quote. So it gives you a chance to say that or whatever, but it doesn't ask you if you want to read the article first because it's bigger and they figure you can see it. On the desktop version, it does it. And that's largely, hold on if I can bring the page up even. That's largely because that's where the bots operate. On that, it's like, do you want to retweet it or quote tweet it? If you go to quote tweet, You have options. Everybody can reply. People you follow can reply, or only the people you mention in it can reply. This is all just standard. They just updated services
to manipulate information, and now it's okay. So
They didn't manipulate anything. They asked you if you wanted to read an article before you posted it because there was a shit ton of fake stuff right before the election. The Russians bum rush in with this stuff, and the Iranians and the Chinese with stuff on social media right before an election, hoping to tip it. Because if they can hit something and it gains some traction, they can swing certain things, even if it's not the presidential race, 2 to 3%, which is enough to throw certain races. So instead of just letting them go and just fill the entire service with stuff, they're like, hey, you want to read this first? And if they're doing it automatically, it slows those people down. If it's a normal person, you can read it yourself, or you can go, no, I don't want to. I know what it says. Dink. We don't know why he's so red.
That the
shadow banning.
only thing that was keeping them slightly in check was Trump.
That's what it was. Yeah, Trump scaring them. If it wasn't for Trump, they wouldn't. Jesus Christ. If it wasn't for Twitter, Trump wouldn't be president. There's no question in my mind. That asshole got his springboard from Twitter.
The idea that, he might actually move on some executive action.
Bullshit. He's not going to affect 230. He can't do that by executive action. You look as dumb as you sound right now.
And do some stuff with Section 230.
Yeah, do some stuff. He could totally do some stuff. You know how the president could do stuff. You can't change the entire structure of a publishing entity or a platform with an executive order. You can't do it. It'd get thrown out. That's why he needs it in a bill. That's why he didn't sign an executive order. Do some stuff.
He's
going to do some stuff. What kind of stuff they going to do, Dave?
Communications Act and a bunch of other stuff. But actions and do some stuff with Section 230 of the Communications Act and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, a bunch of other stuff. He's going to do some stuff and then do some bunch of other stuff. Stuff is going to happen.
But in effect, if they have their guy in office, Biden, at that point, why wouldn't Twitter get rid of the scary Republicans, the right wing?
They're leaving on their own. They're going to Parler because they're cowards. And they cannot communicate in other forms without being violent or instigating violence or attempting to communicate in ways that aren't violent hyperbole. That's why they get bounced. If you cannot communicate your ideas because a platform you're on has 6 words you can't use, then maybe you're too stupid to convey those ideas in public. Has that ever occurred to anybody? Jesus Christ, this drives me nuts. When there's so many people like, I can't even use certain words, they can use that word, but I can't. That whole argument. But I can't tweet that word, but they can. Or I can use this word, and just because I use it in anger instead of in friendship, it's like, oh, you're going to judge my thoughts? Whatever. If you can't communicate what you're trying to communicate on someone else's platform and stay within their rules, you are incapable of communicating the idea, which tells me 2 things. Either 1, you are too violent or too stupid to communicate the idea, or you don't even understand what you're trying to communicate and you're just parroting talking points. And most of the limitations that have been put on stuff, by either through automation, even if they did like initial shadow banning or hearing words, like if I said the word fraud in this, it would screw with the video just because you say the word instead of it actually being germane to the topic that I'm actually talking about, that some algorithm, they're like, maybe we can fix this. We need to just kind of, even if it just gives us a little red flag whenever somebody uses that word, because it seems to be the buzzword that the Q people are using, and that's leading to deaths. Perhaps we should take an extra look at it. If you can't get around that, then you are not helping your side. Your side does not need you as their agent of information because you are clearly too ignorant or your vocabulary is too small to convey that idea. There are so many good ideas on the internet with bad shepherds, left and right.
Fingers the anti-lockdown people, of which I absolutely include myself. I mean, why?
Anti-lockdown? Okay, first of all, we aren't in a lockdown. Americans, Europeans, you're not in a lockdown. I know you like the word, you're not in a lockdown. People in China are in a lockdown. People were welded into their apartments. People were scooped off the street, thrown in a box, and driven to a new hospital that's actually a jail. And fed through a hole in the door until they either died or they got well and could be released. That's lockdown. Stores being shut temporarily while we all stay at home for a little while, and you can come and go, but you have certain limitations on the number of people in a restaurant or the number of people in a bar. It's not a friggin' lockdown, you wuss. This is so... It's just gross. Lockdown.
Why wouldn't...
It's like 15-year-olds going, this is so unfair. I have no freedom at all. Like, go to your room. Okay, I'm going to go play Xbox on my TV, watch Netflix. Jesus Christ.
you just eliminate all of the people you deem bad? And I think we're in for a world of hurt after.
Yeah, FEMA camps, they're coming. That's right. I don't even know why we're even talking. Is Biden working on the FEMA camps? Does anybody know? Are we getting the plastic coffins? We had a bunch of them left over after Agenda 21 was a flop.
January 20th, if Biden is put in.
And no, we're not. And I want, like, Dave Rubin owes us all an apology when all of a sudden you're not going to, like, word jail. That they're going to eliminate the First Amendment, and then the Second Amendment is they're going to come and confiscate your guns. Jesus Christ. I say this every time a Democrat gets elected. Shit never happens. That we end up fixing the economy, adding health care, building infrastructure, trying to stabilize the budget, and then they're like, these guys are just being boring. You need us because we got to protect you. And then they,
Goodness me, that's some scary stuff.
It's very scary. It's almost, imagine how scary it'd be if it wasn't just total horseshit.
Dave Rubin, thank you so much for joining us on Inside the News.
And good luck with your new ball.
My pleasure, Rita.
Jesus Christ. It's like he's on the same shit Don Jr. is on. Okay, I've got a little bit of time left. This is Newsmax with their nighttime host, a lot of filler, and her guest, Dave, the one-eared lawyer. I don't know. We'll figure out what his deal is. The Hunter-China connection. Sounds good. Sounds very scary. Oh my God.
From the entire Biden family, which means that probably Chairman Yi did know of others in the family.
Probably. Yeah, that's good enough for me.
Otherwise, Hunter would say, well, I'm sending you my best wishes. So
he pluralized it and said we, because he works for a company with 6 people in it. And if he said we instead of you, just himself, and he was in a company email, clearly.
Concern. And that sort of fits in with what we know about the Bobolinsky comments that we...
You mean the guy that was fired by the entire company?
We heard about a month ago. So
yeah, that guy.
Essentially what we're hearing right now is that these ties between the Biden family...
Look at them, arms crossed the same way, basically the same human being.
And CEF China...
It's almost like they're, I don't know, father and son or something.
Are really very, very close.
Yeah, and just so...
Yeah. Which is so weird after years of Trump and Don Jr. What is with this grotesque father and son relationship? It's almost as if he's a father who lost a child and then lost and a wife and then lost another child and is like close to his kids. What kind of bullshit is this?
So people are aware, this was 2017, and
weird.
He also
when he wasn't president, he wasn't vice president, and he wasn't running anymore. You mean?
Requested that the company quickly send a $10 million wire transfer to, quote, properly fund and operate the Biden joint venture.
The quote unquote Biden joint venture? You mean the company that they were working with that Biden himself, that Joe Biden had nothing to do with? Say that again. Listen, this is carefully worded language.
Biden joint venture.
Oh, wait, back up.
Aware, this
People aren't aware. What are they not aware?
was 2017.
Right. And Joe Biden he stopped being vice president and when? And he didn't run for president that year because...
And he also requested that the company quickly send a $10 million wire transfer to, quote, properly fund and operate the Biden joint venture.
Yes, and that money wasn't sent, but we do know.
Oh, okay. It was. I mean, it's an email that we got from Rudy Giuliani's hard drive, which is completely suspect after the Russians broke into Burisma and inserted stuff instead of taking stuff out. And in that, there's an email that asks for money, but there was never any exchange of that money, and it never actually came. So it's almost as if that email that was going out was fake, and the request was never made. But please go on.
That Biden's relationship with Bohai Arvis RST, which is BHR Partners, really did involve a lot of money because the Chinese government funneled some very lucrative deals to BHR, and that meant funneling deals to Hunter Biden's pocket because he owned 10% of that fund management company.
10% of the fund management company. So he owned 10%. And I guess there were other people involved. Were there 9 other people who also had 10%? Or was there 10% interest because he'd invested money in a company of his own that the other 2 guys owned between them? They each had 90%. They had 45% interest each. And he had 10%. Is this the 3 people that we're talking about? So he had 10. He got 10% of the 10% the whole company got of the profits from the invested money. Right. I'm starting to have a hard time finding out how he made his money back in this.
That is extremely suspicious because these types of deals don't happen in the absence of corruption.
No, they don't. Why did you go
just
there? What? Oh, that's it? These deals, this is what he's saying.
Happen in the because these types of deals don't happen in the absence of corruption.
What kind of deals? Investments? Wait, are we now going with any investment from China or a Chinese company is corrupt? Is that how, this seems to be how Newsmax is operating, if I'm not, is that how we're doing this? So anybody, okay, so that's because that's interesting. There's a little piece of information that I think is kind of crucial here. Let's see. Trump, Chinese bank account, $17 million. Let's see. There we go. Okay. So $10 million was asked for, never sent, according to that thing that we just saw, right? That Hunter Biden, not Joe Biden, but Hunter Biden has 10% in a company that received investment money that they were supposed to manage and that they get a percentage of the profits, 15, 20%, 10%? We don't know. So he's got 10% of 10% of $10 million, somewhere in the ballpark is what we're hearing from that guy. That was never sent, but if he had, it would have been sketchy and hinky as shit. Okay, that's where we are. So that's how we're operating. So anybody who's getting, 10% of $10 million is suspect, and there is no way that you can have deals like that aren't full of corruption. That all deals like that are corrupt. That just 10% of $10 million means you're on the take, you're probably in league with the Chinese Communist Party, and you'd probably sell out America in a heartbeat for 10% of 10%, and that's maximum. Let's say it's 5% is what their take is off the profit. How about that? Yeah? Thanks, Jason. Donald Tough on China. Trump has secret Chinese bank account. let's see, here it goes. Turns out that China is one of the only 3 foreign nations, the others are Britain and Ireland, where Mr. Trump maintains a bank account. According to an analysis of the president's tax records, the foreign accounts do not show up on Mr. Trump's public financial disclosures. That's the one where he's like, look at all this paper, right? He did not disclose his secret Chinese bank account. And I know that 10% of 10% is 1%, but we don't know what the X is in this circumstance. So we're looking at $10 million versus 1% of the money. So getting $100,000 if he invested $250,000. Is he making his money back? How many deals have to be like that? Either way, so we don't know the volume. They said 10 million. That money didn't move, but the foreign accounts do not show up on Mr. Trump's public financial disclosures, where he must list personal assets because they are held under corporate names. The identities of the financial institutions are not clear. The Chinese account is controlled by Trump International Hotels Management, LLC, which tax records show paid $188,561 in taxes in China while pursuing licensing deals there from 2013 to 2015, which during those times, that's when he paid $750 a year in American taxes. In 2017, the company reported an unusually large spike in revenue right after he became president and right after he scuttled the TPP agreement, if you'll recall. Oh, you love my Oz? Thanks. It'll get better if I'm ever invited down there to do a show, but, I've got to spend at least a month down there after it's all over. And I'm going to do it because I like it. I want to go down there and shoot a movie, and I want to hang out, and I want to, do like an action series about an American expat living in Australia, fighting crime and giant spiders. In 2017, the company reported an unusually large spike in revenue, some $17.5 million, more than the previous 5 years combined. It was accompanied by a $15.1 million withdrawal by, hey, Mr. Trump from the company's capital account. 17.5 went in. He immediately withdrew $15 million right after scuttling the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which would have limited China's influence in the region and helped grow all the other countries in the area as far as trade partners with the United States, namely Vietnam, Cambodia, Taiwan, South Korea. I guess maybe to some degree Burma. It's like 10 nations in it, mixed in with their relationship with Mexico and port authorities through those countries as well. So he drops TPP, which China hated. Magically, $17 million shows up in that account. He withdraws 15 of it immediately while in office, personally. Myanmar, good point. Yeah. In addition to the existence of the Chinese bank account controlled by a company that just happened to record 8 figures worth of revenue during Trump's first year in office, the Times reports that shortly after he won the election, Trump sold a penthouse in one of his buildings for $15.8 million to a Chinese-American businesswoman named Xiaoyan Chen, who runs an international consulting firm and reportedly has high-level connections to the government and political elites in China. So for everybody who's talking to you about Christine Fang, who was the Chinese agent who tried to infiltrate Swalwell's organization. The FBI told Swalwell she's an agent, and he dropped her like a hot potato, and she fled the country after, just after sleeping with 2 Midwestern mayors, who they have yet to name, but fascinating. Thanks on the accent. It's easier to do an accent that you actually love. That's the important part, if you love it. Pluggers, flip-flops in Australian. I don't like flip-flops. I can't go outside in flip-flops. The world's a dangerous place. Put on some fucking shoes. So anybody brings up Fang Fang, you guys can bring up Xiaoyan Chen. And this will make Trump sweat in person. If you brought up Fang Fang to Eric Swalwell, he'd go, Jesus, yeah, and he'd tell you the whole story. You bring up Xiaoyan Chen, Trump's going to pretend not to know her and get sweaty and then start yelling about Biden and Hunter. In a statement, Alan Garten, a lawyer for the Trump Organization, said Trump International Hotels LLC had opened an account with a Chinese bank having offices in the United States in order to pay the local taxes. That's what they did. They just literally he opened a bank account just to pay taxes. He loves China that much. What? Related to attempts to do business there, adding no deals, transactions, or other business activities ever materialized. Wow, so 17 million materialized, but no business? Yikes. And since 2015, the office has remained inactive. Since 2015, it has remained inactive. $17.5 million went into the company's account in 2017, but the company's been inactive since 2015. Oh, thank you. Yes, I appreciate that. Yes, it's time. Yes, it's 6 o'clock, so I got to wrap it up. But I'm not too far over, and I appreciate you reminding me. $15.8 million is a lot for an apartment. It's a lot. But it's not for some like New York apartments. But she's definitely overpaying on purpose. Thank you, Mary. I appreciate that. So just for the record, I'll retweet this out right now just so you guys can have it and pass it around if you have anybody question. But the Xiaoyan Chen connection is the answer to the Christine Fang story. And the administration took a softer approach with China. In May 2018, Secretary of State Pompeo, who was CIA director during the Cuba events, told lawmakers that the medical details of one American official who had fallen ill in China were very similar and very consistent with the syndrome in Cuba. The administration evacuated more than a dozen federal employees and some of their family members. The State Department soon retreated, labeling what happened in China as health incidents. They've been hitting our embassies with radio waves to try and make people sick. Critics say disparities in how the officers were treated stemmed from diplomatic and political considerations, including the president's desire to strengthen relations with Russia and win a trade deal with China, which is why, if you'll recall, he didn't close off contact with them until after the ink was, damp. So this in and of itself, is the hinkiest part of this whole thing. So his own person, Alan Garten, says the company remained inactive since 2015. Remained inactive since 2015. It got in 2017, the company reported an unusually large spike in revenue in an account that was just open to pay taxes, he said, and wasn't doing any business, some $17.5 million. Right after TPP was scuttled, Trump himself pulled $15 million from it. But please, tell me about Hunter Biden. Go on. Why don't you? Anyways, that'll end the show today. I got to go shoot some fun stuff for the Sexy Liberal show. SexyLiberal.com. It's a best of this weekend, but we're adding a couple of things, and I'm shooting one piece for that tonight. And if you buy the entire package, you get all 6 episodes of SexyLiberal.com, and they have and some of you have already seen it, and the like. I can understand where you might want to skip it, but there'll be a couple of added things. And we are doing the cocktail party and the meet and greet as per usual to kind of go back over the year, almost like a New Year's retrospective. I wanted to do this one closer to New Year's because I thought it was kind of a year-end wrap, but that's just, nobody listens to me. But in the process, though, I'm going to be shooting an extra little piece for you that I wrote because I just want... Yes, there's a package deal that lets you get all of them for, I think it's $49.95 or something, and it's all 6 shows, so including this one. So go to sexyliberal.com/tour, and I think all the stuff is on there. I just feel like I need to add stuff to it, so I'm shooting some extra pieces. Anyways, and I adore you guys, and I will see you soon. And I am continuing, starting in January again for 2021, doing my monthly show for Flappers. My guess is that the first live one could possibly be February, depending on how the vaccine rollout is going and how people are feeling about the possibility of it. I'm guessing for myself, the first live one will really be March, even if we're tiptoeing back. But the other two will be streamed, and I'll have more information as they pick the dates for those. I'm also doing a thing for Looped, which is like it's like a day of Cameo for people who want to give gifts of like a Cameo kind of thing. But it's on another network where I do them all, where it's interactive instead of just a video. You can talk to the person, which is way more interesting to me. So I'm shooting for that. So we're well, I'm going to do it. Shooting for it. Yeah. Anyways, I will be shooting one of those with people on, I think it's going to be the 27th, the Sunday after Christmas. So people give it as a Christmas gift, and then we do it on that Sunday. I'll have more details to come. We're just now setting it up. So anyways, it's just a fun gift kind of thing that we'll do, and it's much more interactive than the Cameo kind of thing. So there you go. Who's the guy who said Goober National? His name's Dylan, and this is another Dylan video, and his thing is called the Finance Hub. It doesn't. Let's see. Does he have his whole name on here? Dylan Himmerick. Yeah. Dude's got a Venmo and a Cash App, and you can send cash checks and money orders directly. He's in San Clemente. He's in California. He's in California. Yeah. The frosted tips are next level. He looks like a Dave Hill character. I'm just saying. He really does. If you don't know who I'm talking about, hold on one second. Dave Hill, by the way, this is...
Our next performer is familiar to the airwaves from This American Life, many podcasts and comedy festivals, and his new book is called Parking the Moose, One American's Epic Quest to Uncover His Incredible Canadian Roots. Please welcome back to the program, Dave Hill.
So,
hi, how are you?
Am I not wrong?
I'm incredible. Thank you.
I love Dave Hill. Dave is great. But there's this guy, and then here's Dave Hill.
Give it up for the band. Love watching you guys try to do your thing. So glad I brought earplugs. Anyway, I'm going to play a little guitar tonight.
By the way, Dave can shred, and his band made my second favorite music video of all time.
Why don't you, as long as you guys are out here, why don't you stay out here with me, and let's do a little vamp and B, see if you can keep up. All right. Yeah, just lay it down. I didn't say stop playing. Jeez. Where do you get these guys? Craigslist? All right, I'm gonna rip the solo.
See, it's nuts.
Sorry, I blacked out.
He's just great. I love Dave Hill. He's a friend. I've done shows with him. He has a show that he used to do at Upright Citizens Brigade in New York called the Dave Hill Explosion. He's the last person to interview Ronnie James Dio before he passed away. Hold on. And I think his band does the theme for John Oliver's show. Hold on one second. Yeah. It's almost, let's see. It's almost impossible. Let's see. I don't find it. Hold on. Damn it. I got to find it real quick. This is going to drive me crazy, and then I got to go. Hold on. I have to find the video for you. Nope. I don't want it. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so Valley Lodge, and I can't play this for you because I'll get an internet hit. But where is it? Go is one of their better known ones. Where is it? Here, I have to scroll back through. This is going to drive me crazy. Hold on. This is what happens when I just get into a deep, dark, like, internet chase. Let's see. Yeah, they do the song is called Go. That's their and the instrumental version of it. Is this it? Nope. Yeah, so the album is Go. Let's see. I want to find the right link for it. I'll post it. Let's see. Video. Yeah, here you go. So this is their site. One second. And I'm not gonna because I'm not gonna play it because I don't want to get a hit. So that was the hard part. I had to turn off the audio from that and do it. But Valley Lodge is the band. That's Dave Hill. He's fantastic. We love Dave. You can go and and Go is the song that the instrumental version is the theme song to John Oliver's show, and All of My Loving is my second favorite music video of all time after Eleanor Rigby by Godhead, and I'm only going to show you that one image. And I'm not going to show you anymore. So you gotta seek it out on your own. So go to valleylodgehq.com is their website, or you can just look up All of My Lovin' on and Valley Lodge, and you'll find it. And then I want to hear back from you in the next chat what you thought of it. There you go. So there you go. All right, I'm leaving you with that because we love Dave Hill. And then of course, if you feel like at any point really doing a Dave Hill deep dive, you can watch the Dave Hill Explosion, which I think he has mostly on YouTube, and of course the Black Metal Diaries, which are great live if they ever happen again live, which they will, because I think he's going to take them back out, and they're almost beautiful. They're beautifully indescribable. So anyways, I'm going to sign off. I love you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow at the regular time at 3 o'clock. And then, of course, the Saturday show is coming up. And then that night is the Sexy Liberal show. We will be doing our normal meet and greet and our cocktail hour before. It's a mix of best ofs and the kind of holiday messages and a little extra thing I'm shooting tonight for just some special folks that I wrote just for it. And then what else? What do we got coming up? That's it for now. So the looped thing, and then the first week of January, I will be having, and then my Christmas special's coming up. I'm shooting a lot of that this week. I'm going to release that on Christmas Eve or the day before, maybe the 23rd, if I can get it done by that time. And it'll be, I'll put it up on the 23rd and make it available to the patrons and all that kind of stuff. And then everybody else on Christmas Eve night or something like that. We'll figure it out. But anyways, I love you guys. I appreciate you hanging around. And remember, part of the reason why I'm showing you some of this stuff when we get to the more obscure nonsense that comes up, like these weird little channels, is the outsized control they have over the messaging system in Trump world. And when you hear like, what is this BS? Where did this come from? This is where it came from. And I'm going to show you some of it as we go on, like, even some of the Roseanne stuff that we looked at and the like, so that when it does come up, you have an answer to it instead of like, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. You can go, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Tell me about Trump's account, in China and his real estate deal with Xiaoyan Chen. Can you tell me about that? I give you retorts is what I do. So thanks very much. Thanks to the trolls for hopping by and wasting their time while the rest of us actually enjoy our time together. And I will see you guys tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the super chats. I appreciate the Venmos as well. Mick, thank you for the Venmo. I appreciate that. And if you guys get a chance, please check out the Nerd Halen Twitter feed. We're trying to get 5150 subscribers. Followers on Twitter. We need 5,150 subscribers or followers on there. So, because that's Caleb's magic number. And so if you can just go in there and follow the Nerd Halen channel, it's not too overwhelming. We don't overpost. And then the video for our version of Santa Claus is Coming to Town in the style of David Lee Roth Van Halen is now out all over the webbage. So please enjoy it, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Okay, bye. Okay, bye. I'm really leaving. I got to shoot. Okay, all right, bye. I'll see you later. Play the song. talking to myself. It does it. I don't know why there's a delay. There it is. Bye.